Love
Yeah, we
and
was.
light.
Yeah. So y'all see Empress Redbird. So
Hi,
they
everyone. I'm actually
look.
out just getting a little bit of sun, and John come and told me you was live, and you know, these are some of the reason why. First of all, I want to wish you a happy Father's Day,
Thank you.
uh, and how you know we really appreciate you. I appreciate you being who you are more and more each day. That I realize not to take you for granted.
I appreciate that because
Yeah,
it's easy. It's easy for us to take people for granted when we don't understand what they're doing.
exactly, exactly. It's a lot going on. You know, out here among us, and uh, at times, you know, I feel that we are sometimes in a standstill place, but that's better than going backwards. So I just take one day at a time, that we also know that we are one, and there are people like us that are holding the fort down like us. Sometimes people ought to realize that we're sacrificing our lives and what we want to do. There's not like a rest, and you know, just having a resting place to recuperate some time from all the work that we do, and it's exhausting sometimes.
Yeah.
And we don't. People think that this is like a glamorous job work that we're doing. It's not glamorous. It stinks sometimes. And sometimes being
It,
in the, it feels like we're in the belly of the beast, uh, with people fighting against us and talking negative, and uh, they don't know what we are against and what we're fighting against. And sometimes it's against the very ones who are putting their mouth on us. Sometimes, and sometimes we have to shut it down. Don't worry about them shutting you down.
I think you're moving too
Able to
far
do it.
away from your. There you go. It
Okay.
started breaking up. I think you was moving too far away from the
Yes.
server.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Good.
that's what I wanted to say, is that people need to start to help us with energy so that we can get to the finish line.
Yep. Then that's what I was. That's what this live was about, Empress, because we got the word from the Galactic Council. They put a video in the public domain saying that this is going to come to an end in the next upcoming weeks. So I had to make sure that we did a public announcement so other people will know that this process is coming to an end. And remember
Go ahead.
earlier in the week when I was going over the setup for the grand finale that they was going through.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we seen Donald Trump trumped up charges. Then we seen Joe Brown tell you how they trumped them up and what does it mean judicially. But a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people didn't see the Young Thug case, because the Young Thug case is also showing judicial corruption. They've been going in intimidating witnesses for the government for the longest, but if they catch us doing it, we going to prison. If they get caught doing it, they locking up our lawyer for catching them. So they all playing this game, monkey in the middle, and we ain't supposed to know what's going on.
That's correct.
You know. So
And a lot of the people are getting caught up because they really don't know what's going on. So they're harvesting the energies of the fear, the drama from the people, as long as they can keep them in the
gossiping.
drama and gossiping. then they can harvest the energy that's circulating from that.
Yep. So they need to be aware of the people whose main thing is to tear other people down. We trying to tear down the old system so our system can reactivate. And then you got people trying to tear down the people that's trying to tear down the system, and they pretending to be righteous, and all the time they the ones part of the problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
when you hear me come out and address somebody, they did some dirt that I had to address. You know.
Yep.
So all of this stuff, we know that the Bar Association was chartered by King George and told him in the charter to take everything from us.
Yep.
So we know that the whole judicial system is banking, and we the currency for the judicial banking aspect. A lot of people not understanding this, so it's causing them problems that they never seen coming.
Yeah. So we're doing damage control, and as we are putting everything in place, so that I can use my banking redemption seals, because it's only one other person that I gave banking redemption seals to, and he holds those seals alongside mine, and that's the trustee for the trust that the land is held in, and so as we are preparing, we're preparing not to cause any panic. I've got an update, not only today but on Friday, that things are coming along, and you're right, because they told me in the next week or so things will be set in place so that we can have our own, that Big Mama's Bank can be open, so that the people can transition out of the old system and doing the old system, because as you know, when Wells Fargo started shutting their doors, we know we're at the end of time for the beginning of the new.
Yep. So
So
this is what I was telling them earlier in this live, that we waiting on the banks collapse, because everything is held together by the bank.
right.
And how the BRICS nations was forcing the dollar back home so they can damn the dollar to America.
Mm-hmm.
Once it's damned over here and it ain't circulating no more, it collapses. In the
Did you see where the Federal Reserve uh it was trying to create digital, go into the digital, and they shut them out?
yeah.
uh because they can't do it. They don't have the authority to do it on this land. They don't have it. They have never had the authority to even put their fiat system on this land.
Mm-hmm. So when they did that, they done it under false pretense. They used a uniform commercial system to make us believe they was more legitimate than the people that was legitimate over here. Right. So
Yeah.
while they was using economic hitmen to systematically shut our banking down, they was opening up the Federal Reserve System. They've been trying to institute it since they've been here, and it wasn't until 1913 that they finally was able to institute it. And then 16 years later, they caused the stock market crash.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And most people don't know right now, they just phantom trading. All that
Well,
stuff going on Wall Street.
yeah. So let's talk about that, so that people can understand it from a different perspective, where they can understand it, right? Um, so you have to understand that they mirrored everything that's on the books. They could not ever really touch it, and they were only fiduciaries and the bookkeepers of everything that's been tallied up on this land. And everything has been an illusion of them trading and taking our stuff, uh, but they never had the ability. They knew what a line is. They never had the ability to touch any of the assets. Uh, they only dealt in their own system, where they own the system. They created the system. Anytime you create something, it's yours. But they could not be doing anything in real time, so everything had to be a front as though they were the owners of stuff. But at the end of the day, when you looked at everything, they was only mirroring uh, the assets, but they never could touch them. And that they were illusion, that they were the owners and they were rich, and when they wasn't, because we are the ones that have the value. Now, all the in-ground resources at Turtle Island, uh, yes, they've been actually either technically pulling the assets out of the ground, which, you know, from what I've been looking at, that they only know where they are and they put a value to it and trade it on Wall Street. That they never really actually, at least from what I've been looking at, that ever really pull the assets out of the ground. That have a they have something like a satellite that knows where all the in-ground resources are, and they're able to tally them and put them on the books for us to be able to use whenever we have the access to use our assets to go into commerce and go into real commerce and go into real trade. And that the customs is they're the ones that set up all the traders inside the customs in the terminals. And every major city has a terminal and customs that has tallied up those assets and been trading in corporate fiction, but not necessarily in real time that all of this has ever happened. So I
Yeah.
yield on that.
So what we need to know, the customs deal with these people called privateers. Privateers is like bounty hunters economically. They was commissioned by one of those English kings to come and put everything into a uniform commercial system, privateer status, which took away our public right and put us in what we call backdoor deals.
Yeah.
Those deals that's concealed in the secrecy, right? This also applies to the court system, and this is how you know they are fraud. The courts are supposed to have, all trials are supposed to be public constitutionally. This is derived in the U.S. Constitution from the Iroquois Constitution. You couldn't accuse somebody, take them into a closed room and convict them and then go out and hang them. The people wouldn't stand for it back then. The people now believe that the system's legitimacy is an unbreakable legitimacy, which is a fraud. And it's a deception played on the minds of the people. So when these privateers, and I call them racketeers, join forces, their only agenda was to steal everything that we had. The only problem is under Uniform Commercial Code, when the rightful owner asserts their jurisdiction, they have to freely surrender it. And this is why the Indigenous Rights Acts gave us everything back if we use the oral tradition.
That's
and
correct.
Once we put it in the public domain using the oral tradition, we didn't write the paperwork. This is what people don't understand. We did not write any of those treaties. We did not write any of those charters. We did not write any of those titles. But what happens is they have what you call foundational documents in the fruit of the poison tree doctrine and law. If they surrender to the rightful heir, the foundational document that they fraud is created upon, they surrender the fraud.
They have to, because Big Mama home.
So during the Cipico put the Pope on notice, most of us didn't see it. And if we seen it, we just thought it was some fancy of a Canadian lady that just felt like saying something, but the Pope responded by rescinding the discovery doctrine. Rescinding the discovery doctrine is taking away everything that's built upon discovery. That's their whole system. So once the Pope said that the discovery doctrine is not part of the Catholic faith and they do not no longer support it, that killed it, right? Which killed a commission to settle the lands outside of what was known then as the Christian territories into the what they called the non-believers of the world. Those who was non-Christian, they classify as pagan, right? And pagan means from the earth. That's the crazy thing. Pagan means naturally from the earth. So those who was performing the natural earth magic was told that shit was evil and that they need to join the church so that they can use their magic to subjugate our magic. The only reason they can subjugate our magic because we ain't using it. And if we ain't using it, then the law of use applies. If you leave your car running in the middle of a city and walk away from it and somebody walk past and jump in it, that is not auto theft. That's the law of use.
That's correct.
Now,
So
if
with that
it's
being
parked in,
said now, if we don't use the magic, then we lose it. And
yep,
where we lost it at is in the churches when they had us bowing down to a lesser God than what we are in the matriarch. The matriarch, they had to butcher us up and dumb us down and put us in the churches and make us submissive to a God that first of all don't exist, and if it did, it was lesser than us. And we argue that's another fight that we have on our hands, is to loosen the matriarch from the hands of the doctrination of religion and Jesus and who God is and being worshiped, not seeing themselves as being gods, but seeing themselves as somebody that's submissive under a rule of patriotism and not being in our divinity. And that really is the issue here. The issue is that we got to start to see ourselves as gods. We are the first and the only gods there is. Melanated women, wake up and overstand your power. What our first religion was, what? Voodoo.
and that's our earth
Okay?
magic.
Now,
That's the oldest form of earth magic still practiced on earth. They call it voodoo, hoodoo, Santeria,
yeah,
Brujeria. It's
whatever,
Hecka.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so the first thing they had to do was strip us of the knowledge of that. Why do you think they took them so long? And I don't think they still really subdued Haiti, but why do you think that Haiti has been able to uh 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 you know beat their hind ends? Because they was using the magic. You know, I can't stress this enough that if they don't pick up their magic, they're not gonna never get out of bondage. And that's what they're afraid of, that when we use our magic, all we got to do is think it, and it's done.
Yep.
And that ability is now coming from that sun, and that sun is bringing down that energy and activating those of us who open for activation so that we can take it on down.
And that's what the goal is. Kill the old system so our system can activate. As long as the old system is being supported by our people, that's the longer it take to happen until it get to the critical mass point where it's enough of us that not participating, don't support it, and don't agree with it, that's saying something, right? And then we start to see that the energy manifest physically. And this is where
Mm-hmm.
the confusion come in, because it don't look like you want it to look. It look how it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody
Mm-hmm.
want to see this Jesus character and his Philharmonic orchestra of angels surfing on clouds coming down to save somebody, and that ain't gonna never happen in the known universe.
We gotta understand that we gotta save ourselves, and we have the ability to save ourselves and stop waiting for somebody to come and save us. Even emperors can't save your hind end. I can show you how to save your own hind end because you're your own savior, and I keep saying that. Yes, so that's where we are. That we have to understand and stop looking for a government, stop looking for anybody to save us, because we're beyond that. We always been beyond that. We took on kings and queens to rule over us, and we lost our sovereignty. And so you gotta recognize that your sovereignty and your freedom lies within yourself.
Look, the war with the opposer's magic is for you to walk in the energy of love, and it gives you a spiritual shield, right? This is why
That's the language
when you
of
first
God.
came, yeah. So when you first came on, you was talking about getting some sun and relaxing. You know, I've been on you about that, because these people will drain you if you let them.
Yes.
So right now you're going through your training program to learn how to protect your peace and protect your energy, so you can stay in that love frequency and continue to affect the sisters awakening. Right. Right. And so you
Yep.
got a lot of people who don't really understand what's going on from prior indoctrination. They have to break the old paradigm in order to embrace the new paradigm. All
Mm-hmm.
of these sisters that's watching y'all, in y'all love energy, and your love energy is greatly expressed is when you cooking for the family that you love. When you in that kitchen and you in that heart space in the kitchen, it don't have nothing to do with keeping her barefoot and pregnant. It had everything to do with, I'm gonna nourish you because I love you, and you gonna taste it in the food, and they gonna call it soul food because it's gonna feed your soul. Some
Mm-hmm.
soul food don't come on a plate. Sometimes it come by baby boy talking to mama about putting this shit back right. And we gonna feed the souls of the masses. Once they realize what we doing, they gonna be like, holy shit, mama and baby boy not playing.
No, we not.
Look, a sister I ain't heard from in a couple years, I found her thread in my spam. She said, you remember me? I say, yeah. She said, what's been going on? And I was like, girl. She's like, what? I say, we done took over the whole world and y'all ain't even watching. Y'all ain't even watching. Y'all think we just on social media laughing hee and ha ha. I'm not laughing hee and ha ha. I don't have no jokes. I
No,
got
me
violent
neither.
and vicious venom of the righteous waiting to pierce the jugular vein of the wicked vampires that suck the blood of the babies. I want their head, but my chief say we brain banging, we ain't gang banging. But believe me, these traitors, these infiltrators, and these imposters is gonna be fed to the righteous in order to settle the debt.
Yep.
They settle the debt. Yet we back for everything they owe. It just so happened they owe us everything. If you can think of it, that's what they owe us. They can't reparate that.
No, because
There's
they
no
don't have it.
reparations for it. There's
If
no
they
reparations for that.
if they operated in bankruptcy, you know what? I'm glad you said that. I want everybody to read my lips. I'm real close to you, so you can read my lips. They ain't got no money. They never had. So why you asking for reparation? You see my lips, Rob?
Yep.
Do you see them moving?
Yep.
Okay. So I want everybody to look at my lips so that you can read them. Stop asking for reparations because they don't have it. Why you think they ain't answered you? Because they telling you they don't have it. Stop thinking they got it. They don't have it. They've been operating in bankruptcy ever since 1933. Why you keep going over there asking for some money, for some fiat that they ain't worth the paper is on, and the trees was worth more than what they're circulating on paper as money. The tree is the value. So I'm trying to like get y'all out of that. They owe us. We're gonna sue them. Sue them for what? You need to sue their ass for peace.
Look,
Did you hear what I said? Sue their asses for peace.
only problem I got with suing them for anything, Empress. We gonna go. Look, we gonna go to the enemy courthouse and tell the enemy to rule in our favor on the theft that the enemy is committing.
Yeah,
That's the most backwards thinking I ever heard.
I
You
swear.
can't petition these crooks to perform in honor and dignity when everything they do is predicated on fraud and deception.
Yes. And so y'all come on now. Stop it.
Reparations is a carrot on a stick. It is designed to keep you in your victim status and to look for a handout for somebody that don't got a hand to raise.
Oh,
They all in the
rotten
game.
hand. You don't want to lay them rotten hands on you.
Is project. Hey, look, I ain't gonna even go there because I was over with somewhere with them rotten hands. But look, the reservation tribe wear the red handprint over their mouth from the bloody hand of the black glove on the black hand that covered the mouths of the mothers, the clan mothers, that stopped them from speaking and reclaiming what was theirs. It ain't no secret. We know who the enemy is and who been doing it. Now we know clearer than ever.
Yeah,
The problem is just because we know it, it doesn't mean it's going to instantly stop. We have to follow the process.
that's correct.
Following the
But people are
process,
impatient, Rod. That's the issue. Is that when is it gonna happen? When it is happening in real time? You know, people always tell me, well, I don't see nothing. I don't. Shut up, because you're looking for the wrong thing.
and you
You
looking in the
can't
wrong
see for
place.
look.
They going to a David Copperfield show to watch The Illusion, swearing they not gonna get tricked, and now they leaving out of the show talking about how you make that plane disappear. He told you it was an illusion before you went, and you swore you wasn't gonna get duped by the illusion. And once you got duped, now you wondering how did you get duped? Just because you don't know how he did the illusion, don't make it less of an illusion. It doesn't turn it into a magic trick. You know, so we don't have to know how the trick is done. We just have to be aware that we know it's a trick. We knew it was a trick when we went to their system, because they wouldn't have
No,
forced
we
us
did
to go to their
no.
system if they wasn't tricking us.
But look, you I'm gonna back that one up for a minute. make a statement on that one. No, they don't, because they still thinking this shit is real.
That mean
Okay,
they still trick. They still deceived.
they still trying to go into a system that is obsolete and not their friend, and they still getting attorneys to represent them. They still believe in the fiat. They still believe that the United States is a country. You still believe in all this stuff. You need to go listen to Stevie Wonder. Superstition, believing in things that you don't understand. Go back and listen to that song. And so when they keep going there thinking it's something there for them, and that they would rather accept the narrative that they always known and that is familiar to them than to believe something that is new and that's going to be good for them, that it's hard for people to make the transition to stop believing in something that they believed in all their life. They never been exposed to nothing else. So we have a dilemma of people holding on to the familiarity of that they don't know anything else. And when we're trying to expose what they know is not good for them, then we get the punch in the damn nose, in the mouth and in the eyes, and get ridiculed because we're trying to tell them what they think they don't, what they think they know. They don't know.
Somebody say, why do the enemy praise Satan if he ain't real? Because they want you to believe he real enough to keep you deceived. The same reason they praise a God that can't solve no problems. Whether it's Satan or they God, the thing is the same. The question is this: how come God can't stop poverty? How come God can't stop these children from being trafficked? Where he at? We keep looking in the wrong place because the only one gonna protect our children is us. The only one gonna have enough love and compassion for our offspring is the ones who produced them. But we so busy being misled that we misleading the children, but this new generation not buying it.
No,
This
not
new
at all. And
generation,
I'm glad.
they not buying it. They got questions about your Jesus. They got questions about your Muhammad that ain't nobody never asked before, and it's putting a monkey wrench in the gears work of the process. It's not gonna never work like you want it to work. It's gonna work how your enemy designed it to work. Your
That's
God and
correct.
your devil is two polarities of the same system.
Same
You
system.
can't have one without the other because you need a good guy and a bad guy.
Yep. Now, let's convert that to ourselves, and then I have to go and get my sister together, send her positive energy. She's victim of the system, with that medical system, and now she's has cancer, and it spread, and she a victim of the mindset. It is not there to for me to get her well. She would rather eat the Bojangle chicken, eat the fast food and all that, than to me to give her live food. So but back to what I was getting ready to say. Well, what was I getting ready to say? Darn it.
We was talking
What was
about
the last
the
thing?
God devil
Oh
paradigm.
yeah. Okay, so here's a good end note for everybody. You're all of it. You're God, what a God, Bob, and the devil. And go look that series up. It used to be a TV show called Bob, God, and the Devil. You can get it on YouTube, right? See, they trained us to choose one over the other, and they made everything. You got a choice: this one or this one. Choose which one you want.
The
That's
lesser of
where it's
two evils.
always been. But if you change your concept, then why do I have to choose one or the other? Why come I can't choose all or none? Because that's what I choose. If I'm gonna make a choice, because that only leaves you half of your existence, because you're all of it, and so we can't always be one all the time. That's why we have the imbalance, because we have always choose the blue pill or the red pill. Choose
I
God.
didn't.
Choose yeah.
I took
Well,
both of them like an idiot and
I
wide
took
awake
both
in the
of them
matrix.
too. I took both of them too. I
I'm
sure
wide
damn
awake in
did.
the
I
matrix.
said shit. I said let me have the blue and the red, so everything can be going on at the same time. And so if everybody will understand to pass that on, we don't have to choose one or the other, because we're both. And if you embrace both, then you can be whole and you can be yourself all at the same time. And if you don't want to choose both, then choose nothing. But don't choose one over the other, because then you do yourself a disservice. And that's my take on everything, son.
Thank you for coming over here and gracing us with your presence. It's always an honor and a privilege to have you with us.
It's an honor to always see you. You know, we have our late night talks and our late night rendezvous with things that go through our minds at night and in the early wee hours of the AM. And this first time I actually been on Facebook. And the only reason why I knew you was on Facebook because John said, "Oh, your son is on live." And so I wanted to stick my head up and surprise you to say hi, and I love you, and I honor you. And I'm glad that you're my son.
Well, we're here for it. We're here to bring it all full circle back to the beginning.
Yep, yep. So I'll be giving you an update on what's transpired in the last couple hours a little bit later this evening, okay?
Okay.
I love you guys. Y'all take care. And it's a pleasure being on and being in your